In a shocking turn of events just 1 minute ago, Justin Combs, son of hip-hop mogul Sean "Diddy" Combs, was violently attacked inside the courthouse during a highly tense federal trial. The incident unfolded during a brief recess, catching everyone off guard and sending ripples through the courtroom and beyond. Security quickly intervened, but the attack has raised serious concerns about safety measures amid an already volatile legal battle that has captivated public attention. This unexpected assault not only escalates the tension surrounding the trial, but also marks a grim reminder of the personal risks faced by those close to high-profile cases. As the situation develops, questions mount about the implications for the Combs family and the trial's future. The context: a trial already fraught with drama. The federal trial of Sean "Diddy" Combs has been a relentless storm of controversy, scandal, and intrigue, gripping the nation with its explosive revelations. At the center of this maelstrom is Diddy, the iconic music mogul and entrepreneur, accused of orchestrating an elaborate and shadowy network of witness intimidation, bribery, and systematic attempts to obstruct justice. Over the past several months, the courtroom drama has peeled back the layers of an intricate web connecting Hollywood elites, powerful insiders, and covert deals designed to manipulate testimonies and evade the reach of the law. This trial is unlike any other in recent memory. It exposes the collision of celebrity power and legal accountability, where behind the glitz and glamour lies a sinister struggle for control over narratives and silence. Prosecutors have laid bare alleged efforts to pay off witnesses, bribe key individuals, and deploy intimidation tactics that threaten to undermine the very foundation of the justice system. The stakes have never been higher, and the courtroom has become a battleground where not just reputations but entire legacies hang in the balance. Amid this turbulent backdrop, Justin Combs, Sean's eldest son, had largely remained a shadowy figure in the public eye. The Combs family made deliberate efforts to keep him shielded from the relentless media frenzy and intense legal scrutiny, hoping to preserve some semblance of normalcy for the young man. Justin, known to be a private individual, rarely appeared in public or commented on the unfolding legal drama. His presence was carefully managed to avoid drawing unwanted attention or escalating tensions. The attack. What happened? Inside the courthouse, eyewitness accounts from inside the federal courthouse paint a chaotic and alarming scene that unfolded with astonishing speed. The atmosphere was already electric. Security personnel were on heightened alert, following a series of recent threats and confrontations linked to the volatile case. The tension was palpable. Everyone in attendance understood that the trial's stakes extended far beyond legal arguments and witness testimonies. The attack happened during a brief recess, a moment when the courtroom emptied just enough for people to move, but still remained under strict security oversight. Justin Combs was making his way out of the courtroom when a man, identified shortly afterward as Marcus Hill, a disgruntled former associate with alleged ties to the trial's key witnesses, suddenly lunged at him. The assailant's motives are still under investigation, but witnesses described the attack as sudden and unprovoked. Punches were thrown in rapid succession before security guards intervened, separating the two men amid the gasps and shouts of stunned observers. The sound of chaos echoed through the courtroom halls, with stunned murmurs rippling through the crowd as officials swiftly responded to restore order. Medical personnel were called immediately, though reports confirmed Justin sustained only minor injuries, largely shaken, but otherwise unharmed. The fallout: security concerns and court delays. The immediate aftermath of the attack laid bare the vulnerabilities of the courtroom environment and ignited urgent concerns about security protocols. Federal marshals overseeing the trial, vowed to increase protective measures, promising enhanced safety for all parties, from witnesses and attorneys to family members caught in the crossfire. The courthouse, typically a place of solemn order and rule of law, was forced to acknowledge the fragility of that order in the face of escalating threats. Judge Marissa Green, who has presided over the case with stern resolve and a clear commitment to justice, paused the trial proceedings in response. Her courtroom, a venue for legal battle and public spectacle alike, fell silent as she addressed the incident with an unprecedented seriousness. "This courtroom must remain a place of order and safety," she declared firmly. Her words underscored the gravity of the situation, warning that any future disruptions or acts of violence would be met with the full force of the court's authority. The judge's decision to halt the trial, even temporarily, signaled the depth of concern among legal officials. Investigations into the assault are now underway, delaying the court schedule and adding a new layer of complexity to a trial already laden with twists and turns. Security reviews are being conducted to identify how such a breach could have occurred and what further steps must be taken to safeguard the process going forward. The impact on the Combs family. For the Combs family, the attack on Justin is far more than a headline. It is a deeply personal blow that strikes at the core of their collective resilience. Insiders close to Sean "Diddy" Combs described the incident as a sobering and painful reminder that this trial is not just a public spectacle, but a profound crisis touching the lives of those they hold most dear. Sources reveal that Sean himself is struggling to grapple with the harsh new reality. The trial's repercussions have breached the walls of legal strategy rooms and media briefings to invade the sanctity of family life. The protective bubble around Justin has been shattered, exposing him to the dangers that come with the case's explosive nature. The Combs family's inner circle is reportedly on edge, weighing increased protective measures to ensure safety. Security experts have been called in to advise on how best to shield family members from further threats, while mental health professionals have been consulted to help the family cope with the psychological toll of this high-pressure ordeal. For Justin, the assault is a harsh awakening. Friends and confidants report that he had been striving to maintain a low profile, trying to distance himself from the growing storm. Yet today, he was unwillingly thrust into the spotlight amid the trial's most volatile moments, facing the very real physical risks that accompany the legal battle surrounding his father. Legal ramifications: how the assault could affect the trial. Legal analysts caution that the attack on Justin Combs introduces a new, unpredictable element into the already complicated trial dynamics. Although this violent incident is unlikely to alter the core charges against Sean "Diddy" Combs, it could influence the broader courtroom atmosphere and affect the trial's unfolding in subtle but meaningful ways. Witness intimidation remains a central thread of the prosecution's narrative. An assault on a family member, especially one that occurs within the courthouse itself, underscores the hostile and dangerous environment surrounding the case. This may embolden prosecutors to press for even stricter protective orders and enhanced security measures to ensure witnesses and their families can participate safely in the judicial process. Conversely, the defense could attempt to leverage the incident by portraying the Combs family as victims caught in a toxic and volatile environment beyond their control. Defense attorneys might argue that the attack highlights the extraordinary pressures they face, appealing to the jury's empathy and potentially softening public opinion. The courtroom attack also raises questions about witness cooperation. Witnesses who fear for their own safety or that of their families may be reluctant to come forward or testify candidly, potentially complicating prosecutorial efforts. How attorneys navigate this tense dynamic in the coming weeks could prove crucial. Media frenzy and public reaction. The moment news broke of the violent assault on Justin Combs inside the courthouse, social media platforms erupted with an unprecedented surge of commentary and speculation. Within minutes, hashtags related to the attack trended across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, accompanied by thousands of posts expressing shock, concern, and outrage. Fans of Sean "Diddy" Combs and his family flooded the comment sections with messages of support and prayers for Justin's well-being. Across the board, the attack was widely condemned as a reckless act of violence that threatened the sanctity of the judicial process. Yet, amid the waves of sympathy, voices of speculation and analysis emerged. Commentators debated the potential symbolism behind the attack, suggesting it may represent far more than a moment of personal hostility. Some argued that this was a clear indicator of the deep fractures and volatility that have long simmered beneath the surface of the high-profile federal trial. Social media influencers and legal experts alike weighed in, examining how this incident might influence public perception of the trial and the key figures involved. Meanwhile, the incident raised immediate and pointed questions about courthouse security. Critics questioned how an individual with apparent ties to the case could breach security protocols sufficiently to launch such a brazen attack. Calls for accountability and improvements to courthouse safety surged, demanding answers from the judicial system and federal marshals tasked with protecting those connected to the trial. News outlets ran follow-up reports scrutinizing the courthouse's security measures, interviewing former court employees and security consultants about potential vulnerabilities. Who is the attacker? Unpacking motives and connections. Investigations quickly identified the assailant as Marcus Hill, a name familiar to those closely following the trial. Hill is a former associate of one of the prosecution's key witnesses, a figure whose cooperation with law enforcement has been pivotal in building the case against Sean "Diddy" Combs. Over recent months, Hill has made public statements expressing deep resentment and frustration over his entanglement with the trial, claiming that it has ruined his life and accusing parties involved of betraying him. Hill's background is marked by a series of confrontations and legal troubles, many linked tangentially to the sprawling investigation surrounding the case. Sources close to law enforcement describe him as volatile and unpredictable, raising concerns that his motivations for the attack may have stemmed from personal vendettas as well as attempts to intimidate the Combs family. Some insiders speculate that Hill sought to send a chilling message, that those connected to the trial would face consequences beyond the courtroom. Authorities have launched a full-scale background investigation into Hill's recent activities and affiliations. They are also reviewing surveillance footage and security logs from the courthouse to identify how Hill gained access to the sensitive areas where Justin Combs was moving between courtrooms. The ongoing inquiry aims to uncover whether any lapses or oversights in security contributed to the breach, as well as whether Hill acted alone or in coordination with others. A family at a crossroads. Goodbye to normalcy? For the Combs family, the assault on Justin has shattered any remaining illusions of separation between their private lives and the high-stakes legal battle unfolding in public view. Insiders close to Sean Combs reveal that the family is grappling with a profound sense of loss, not just of privacy, but of safety and the basic sense of normalcy that once defined their daily lives. Sean "Diddy" Combs, whose public persona is built on resilience, strength, and the celebration of success, now faces a precarious future where personal vulnerability is painfully exposed. The attack on his son symbolizes a deeper, more personal cost of the trial, the erosion of family sanctity and the increasing dangers posed by an environment rife with hostility and suspicion. Friends and confidants of the Combs family describe Justin as a young man caught off guard by the sudden escalation of threats. At just 25, he has been striving to remain out of the spotlight, avoiding media attention and public scrutiny. But this violent episode has thrust him unwillingly into the center of a maelstrom, forcing him to confront not only physical danger, but the harsh glare of public attention that comes with being part of one of the most watched legal dramas in recent memory. Psychological experts close to the family warn that the ongoing stress and fear could have lasting effects on Justin's mental health, underscoring the urgent need for comprehensive support and protection. The family is reportedly considering a range of new protective measures, including increased private security and restrictions on public appearances. The broader implications, a microcosm of celebrity vulnerability. This courthouse attack illuminates a larger truth about the vulnerability inherent in lives lived at the intersection of celebrity and controversy. In an era where social media amplifies every headline and scandal, even those who have spent decades building empires of influence and power are not immune to the dangers that lurk behind public fame. The Combs family's ordeal serves as a stark reminder that celebrity status can magnify risks rather than shield against them. When legal battles, media scrutiny, and personal grudges converge, the consequences can spill over into physical danger, threatening the safety of family members and witnesses alike. Moreover, the incident raises urgent questions about how institutions, particularly the judiciary, handled the security of high-profile cases. It highlights a critical need for updated protocols and enhanced measures designed specifically to protect not only the accused and their legal teams, but also families and witnesses who find themselves unwittingly caught in the crossfire. Security experts observing the incident suggest that the traditional frameworks for courthouse safety are insufficient for the complexities of cases entangled with celebrity and public spectacle. The Combs family's experience may well become a case study in the evolving challenges of protecting justice in the digital age. What's next? Steps forward for the trial and the family. With the courthouse assault casting a long shadow over the proceedings, attention now turns to how the trial will move forward. Prosecutors are expected to use the attack as further evidence of the toxic and hostile environment surrounding the case, emphasizing the dangers faced by those involved and pushing for enhanced protections for witnesses and their families. Legal analysts predict that this development will complicate prosecutorial strategies, as witness safety becomes an increasingly urgent priority. The prosecution may argue that the incident is emblematic of a broader pattern of intimidation tactics orchestrated to influence testimony and obstruct justice. Conversely, the defense may seek to pivot the narrative toward the human cost borne by the Combs family, highlighting the family's fears and the unbearable pressure they are under. By humanizing their client and his loved ones, defense attorneys might aim to elicit sympathy from the jury and public, framing the family as victims of a relentless and unfair legal onslaught. For Sean Combs and his inner circle, the assault marks a possible turning point. Some insiders speculate that the family may adopt a more guarded public posture, minimizing appearances and engagements to focus on personal security and healing. Discussions about relocating family members or increasing the presence of private security firms are reportedly underway. Final thoughts: a defining moment in a tumultuous trial. The attack on Justin Combs mere moments ago is more than just a disturbing headline. It marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing saga of Sean "Diddy" Combs' federal trial. This violent incident exposes the raw, personal toll that the high-profile legal battle has exacted on the family, extending well beyond courtroom drama and legal arguments. As the trial unfolds, the world is watching intently, recognizing that the consequences here will ripple far beyond the courtroom walls. This case has become a lens through which we view justice, celebrity, and the precarious balance of power in today's America. For Justin Combs, the attack is an unwelcome initiation into a public life overshadowed by conflict, fear, and media scrutiny. For the Combs family, it is a painful reminder that some wounds cut deeper than legal rulings, leaving scars that no verdict can heal. While the path ahead remains uncertain and fraught with challenges, one thing is clear. The Combs family's story is far from over. With stakes higher than ever, this trial continues to test the limits of resilience, reputation, and the pursuit of truth in the spotlight.